Kareem Man had always felt an inexplicable connection to the ocean. He had grown up with the sea as his playground and learned to navigate the waters with the same ease others navigated the city streets. Over the years, he had become a skilled surfer, his body cutting through the waves like a well-honed blade. But on September 8th, 2000, his love for the ocean would be put to the ultimate test. It was a Friday, and the day was about to end. Kareem went out to catch the remaining light of the day. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the water as it lazily stretched its rays across the sky. Kareem knew the best waves could often be found at this time of day when the wind was calm and the tide was beginning to turn. Kareem excitedly grabbed his surfboard and headed down to the beach. The sand was now cool beneath his feet, a welcome relief from the heat that had come earlier in the day. He couldn't help but smile as he looked out at the ocean, its vast expanse seeming to beckon him forward. Kareem's destination was a popular surfing spot known as Pic du Diable, located near the town of St. Pierre on Reunion Island. Situated in the Indian Ocean, the island was a haven for surfers, its warm waters and consistent swells providing the perfect conditions for riding the waves. As he paddled out into the surf, Kareem felt at home. He positioned himself with practiced ease to catch the first wave, his body tensing as he prepared to make his move. Seeing the incoming wave from his periphery, Kareem propped himself up and skillfully floated on the hurling waters. It was a blissful couple of seconds. Kareem did this for a while until he eventually felt fatigued and prepared to return to shore. Unbeknownst to Kareem, a dangerous predator lurked beneath the waves, sizing him up and stalking his every move. Kareem got back up on his surfboard and began paddling toward the shore. Suddenly, without warning, the water around him exploded into a frenzy of motion. Kareem felt a powerful force lift him and his surfboard out of the water, sending him hurtling into the air. His heart raced as he was thrown back into the water, the shock of the impact momentarily disorienting him. As he struggled to regain his bearings, Kareem realized he was not alone. A 3-meter-long tiger shark had launched itself at him, knocking him out of his meditative experience. Terror surged through Kareem as the powerful creature approached with wrath. Desperate to defend himself, Kareem used his surfboard as a shield, doing his best to keep the shark's snapping jaws at bay. The shark launched a series of attacks on Kareem, approaching him very closely. Fighting for his life against a dangerous predator, Kareem struggled to stay afloat. However, when he eventually managed to surface for a breath, he saw the creature's head coming straight toward him. Then he heard an ominous crunch in the water. Kareem felt the shark's massive jaws clamp down on his arm and surfboard simultaneously. The shark's razor-sharp teeth sheared through the fiberglass and foam. The bite was so forceful, it tore a chunk from his board. At the same time, the serrated edges of the shark's teeth sank deep into Kareem's arm, tearing through his skin and muscle. As the reality of the situation dawned on him, a swell of panic threatened to overwhelm him. However, he knew he had to remain composed to make it out of this nightmare alive. Kareem forced himself to take a deep, steady breath. He searched for the presence of mind that had always served him well in the ocean's unpredictability. Suddenly, the shark let go, perhaps not liking the taste of the polyurethane foam, then seemingly proceeded to swim away. However, one common tactic with tiger sharks is that they come back for another ruthless attack. The shark circled back toward Kareem, its enormous head speeding through the water. But Kareem was determined not to become a statistic. Summoning all his strength, Kareem delivered a powerful blow to the shark's nose. It was a desperate move that miraculously sent the creature retreating into the depths. Still, fear engulfed Kareem, and he remained on high alert. However, after the beating Kareem inflicted on the shark, the creature decided he was too troublesome to be prey. Kareem was nervous. He climbed back onto his surfboard and caught a wave that carried him to the safety of the shore. His arm throbbed with pain, and he knew he needed medical attention, but he was alive. Eventually, he reached the hospital. The doctor who treated Kareem's wounds used 20 stitches to close the deep laceration on his arm. Despite the harrowing experience, Kareem remained steadfast in his love for surfing, declaring it his destiny. However, he admitted that he might not return to Pic du Diable anytime soon. It was August 12, 1993. The sun shone brightly over the picturesque coastal town of Fort Bragg, California. It was a day that would be forever etched in the memory of David Miles. The 38-year-old abalone diver had set out to explore the ocean depths, unaware that this dive would alter the course of his life. David was an experienced diver, having spent years honing his skills in the challenging art of abalone diving. The waters near Fort Bragg were known to be rich in marine life, offering ample opportunities for divers like David to collect the valuable abalones clinging to the rocky ocean floor. The diving area, which was 10 miles north of the shore, was also known for its strong currents and the presence of large marine predators, a fact that David was all too aware of as he prepared for his dive. As the hours went by, David found himself submerged in the calm waters of the Pacific, his wetsuit providing a measure of protection against the chilly temperature. David moved like a blade through the underwater landscape, cutting through the waters with precision. His eyes peeled for the prize abalones he had come to collect. Unbeknownst to David, a powerful beast was beyond his sight. The creature was waiting for him, sizing him up as he swam through the water. It was a great white shark. Every second that passed by, the shark grew bolder. It inched closer and closer to David as he continued hunting for abalone. And then it happened. Without warning, the shark struck David from behind. It was like a massive freight train that banged against David's back, startling and disorienting him. The water around the confused diver churned with turbulence as it exploded in chaos. As the shark's massive body twisted and rolled toward the surface, its massive jaws clamped down around David with an unyielding force. He felt the crushing pressure of the shark's teeth as they pierced his wetsuit, the icy water rushing around him. The shark's immense mouth seemed to envelop him like a vice, swallowing him head first until his body was consumed up to the shoulder blades. The once peaceful waters became a battlefield as David desperately tried to survive the ordeal. The serene beauty of the day above the surface stood in stark contrast to the life and death drama playing out beneath the waves. David's vision was obscured by a swirling mixture of seawater, bubbles, and his own blood as the shark's razor-sharp teeth continued to sink deeper into his back, face, and chest. In this moment of terror, time seemed to slow down for David. Each second stretched into an eternity as he fought to maintain consciousness and hold on to the hope that he might somehow escape the shark's grip. However, in a twist of fate that would prove to be David's salvation, the shark seemed to have a change of heart. Perhaps sensing that its prey was not usual, the shark released David from its grip. It spat him out into the churning waters and swam into the depths. Though severely injured, David was alive, a fact that seemed nothing short of miraculous given what just happened. Clutching at the shreds of his wetsuit, David knew he had to act quickly if he was to survive this harrowing ordeal. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, he swam the 70 yards to a nearby rock, his body wrecked with pain and exhaustion. David clung to the rock and promised himself he would not go back into the water. Although there were 5 other divers in the area that day, only one saw the commotion happening in the water. Mike saw the dorsal fin and the shark's tail amidst the violent splashing. This prompted him to quickly respond to David's situation. Mike saw David hanging desperately by a rock and came to his aid. Together, they managed to make their way back to shore, the gravity of the situation becoming ever more apparent with each passing moment. Mike immediately alerted authorities and called for help. David winced at the moments his battered and bloodied body was hoisted aboard. He was airlifted to Mendocino Coastal Hospital in Fort Bragg, where he would begin the long and arduous process of recovery. Although David's condition was stable, doctors monitored him closely. After all, he suffered severe lacerations to the back, chest, face, and scalp. Doctors deemed that David only survived the attack because the shark didn't want him. It was indeed a stroke of luck. On April 13, 2015, the sun rose over the Florida Keys, casting a warm glow on the azure waters that would soon become the stage for a rare and dramatic encounter between man and shark. Mark Rackley, a 48-year-old experienced shark videographer, prepared for yet another day of diving with these fascinating creatures. Mark was a passionate individual who admired the beauty and danger of sharks. Working as a professional shark videographer, Mark had done work with the Discovery Channel. Little did Mark know that this day would be unlike any other in his long career. The surrounding waters of Florida Keys are a vibrant marine environment. Stretching for about 125 miles from the southern tip of Florida, the Keys are a chain of Coral Cay Islands that form a natural barrier between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. The area is also home to a number of shark species. Commonly found here are nurse sharks, lemon sharks, bull sharks, and hammerheads, among others. Mark made his way 300 yards from the shore, expecting to spot any of these sharks from a safe distance. However, as he waded in the shallow waters, he was greeted by an unexpected visitor, an 8-foot-long blue shark. These sharks are known for their blue coloration, which serves as camouflage in the open ocean, giving them an advantage when hunting prey. Blue sharks are typically found in 100-foot deep waters, but this one strayed into the shallows, ending up near the shore. While these sharks are not considered to be highly dangerous to humans, they have been known to bite when provoked or threatened. Unfortunately, their population has been on the decline in recent years due to overfishing and the demand for shark fins. Mark knew this and realized he was witnessing a rare occurrence. Furthermore, he has not been able to spot a blue shark in all his time in the Keys before. This was an opportunity he simply could not pass up. Mark grabbed his camera and began swimming toward the creature. As Mark approached the shark, a sense of excitement welled up inside him. He meticulously adjusted his position in the water to achieve the most captivating angle, concentrating on composing the perfect photograph. As he snapped a series of images, capturing the majestic creature from various perspectives, he gradually encroached on the shark's space. It dawned on Mark that his actions were unsettling the beast, making it visibly uncomfortable. Rather than respecting the shark's boundaries, Mark's unwavering desire to document this exceptional encounter drove him to follow the creature. He swam toward the already annoyed creature, ultimately swimming just above the animal as it navigated through the water. The shark was now visibly agitated by Mark's pursuit. Without warning, it suddenly reacted with an abrupt and swift turn. The creature's powerful jaws latched onto Mark's bicep and shoulder, the razor-sharp teeth sinking into his flesh. The forceful grip of the shark's bite held Mark in its clutches for a few heart-stopping moments as he attempted to comprehend the gravity of the situation. Despite the fear and pain coursing through him, Mark couldn't help but marvel at the shark's striking appearance and its graceful movements in the water. Mark realized he needed to act quickly. He let go of his camera and grabbed hold of the shark, using all his strength to pry himself free from its grasp. The shark finally relented, releasing him and swimming away into the depths. With blood streaming down his arm, Mark made his way back to shore, his mind still reeling from the encounter. He was eventually rushed to the emergency room. The pain of the bite and the blood loss caused him to become more lightheaded, leading him to black out. Eventually, his injuries were repaired with 58 stitches every 3/4 of an inch apart so any infectious germs would drain from the wound. As he lay in his hospital bed, Mark stared at the jagged scar that would adorn his body, a permanent reminder of his brush with a dangerous and beautiful creature. After a few weeks of recovery, Mark returned to work, his passion for diving with sharks undiminished by the harrowing experience. He reflected on the incident, acknowledging that he had gotten too close to the shark, driven by his curiosity. Despite the pain and the scars, Mark felt a sense of gratitude for the experience, which had only deepened his respect and admiration for these incredible creatures.